And back. Well, for, well, you guys probably won't know, but I was just eating lunch. So, anyway, this is the last story that I'm going to be talking about. It's the final one, like I had said at the end of Rescue Me from Darkness, where Sora and Riku finally get the letter from King Mickey and Yen Sid about their Mark of Mastery exam. This is Dream Drop Distance, Separated Journey. Right when Sora and Riku got that letter from Hikaru and Kairi delivering it themselves from King Mickey and Yen Sid, the letter stated that they are on the road and they will now be tested to take their Mark of Mastery exam. Who is going to be the master out of this group? Who knows? Separated Journey takes place at Mysterious Tower. Hikaru is going on her own little journey. But, well, she was also asked by Yen Sid to supervise how things are going with Riku and Sora during the Mark of Mastery exams. She had no way to do that. But she figured out something. She asked Naminé to do this for her. She, having Naminé touch the stone to tell her when Sora was asleep, she decided to do the same for Riku and Sora. So she asked Yen Sid if she could talk to them for a little bit. She took them outside the room. When she had them wait outside the room, she told Yen Sid what she was going to do. She was going to have Sora and Riku touch the stone. That way it'll glow a color. It'll glow two colors for them if something good is happening or something bad is happening. For both of them. So, Yen Sid understood and was allowing her to do it. So she went outside the room to see Sora and Riku waiting outside by the window. They were just looking outside at the stars. And she goes over to them and says, "Hey, I want you guys to do something. I already told Yen Sid what I'm going to be doing. He asked me to supervise the Mark of Mastery, but I can't because I have to go somewhere else. I want you guys to do this." And she took off a necklace and held it in front of them by the little rope. "I want you guys to hold on to this. Pour some of your power in it. That way it glows two different colors for something good happening and something bad happening for you both." And Riku's just like, "How are you going to know something good's happening for Sora or I?" And she's going to say, "Riku, yours will glow white. Sora, yours will glow blue. If something bad happens, Riku, yours will glow purple. Yours will actually glow black. And Sora, yours will glow red." And they're like, "Oh, okay." So they touch it. They touch the stone. They put their hand on it like this. Like each one of them, both of them do it. And before they took their Mark of Mastery, she gave them both wayfinders. She gave Sora a lighter green one, lighter than Ven's, but it's the same. And she gave Riku a red one that is similar to Terra's. It fades from red to orange. That's why it's similar to Terra's. And she said, "I want you guys to keep these with you at all times. Because the Mark of Mastery is hard. It depends on who's going through it, but it is hard." And they're like, "How do you know? And why did Yen Sid ask you?" But Yen Sid never told you guys, did he? I took my Mark of Mastery, and I passed. "Riku, why was the reason you saw me with Earthshaker?" And he's like, "I don't know. I don't know why." And she told him, "It's because I had my adopted brother's spirit within my heart. I called out to see if I can get any help before the Mark of Mastery, and he let me use his Earthshaker Keyblade for my Mark of Mastery exam." Not what she expected, but she did anyway. And Riku was kind of shocked to hear that because he hadn't heard of her adopted brother before, but he had a feeling he knew him. It was just on the inside that he knew. And what happened was the fact that she had decided to give them the Wayfinders for good luck. Not only that, to keep an eye on them, because not only that, her Wayfinder will glow if something is happening. Her sister's Wayfinder, she only put a temporary spell on it, only for those two. Her sister's Wayfinder is more connected to Sora, since Sora was the first one to touch it after Aqua. She said that if someone is coming, if something bad is coming, I will be alerted, and I will stop what I'm doing and go over see what is going on. But this is how I'm going to supervise you guys. As a master myself, I'm going to do this for you. So, she showed them, she thought of somebody. Just somebody at random, and the first person she thought of was Vanitas. Typical. So she pulls out she pulls out Aqua's Wayfinder, and she said, I put a temporary spell on this. It's going to alert me whenever someone is near you. She thought of Vanitas, so she closed her eyes, Vanitas came to mind, and as soon as it got to the Wayfinder, it glowed yellow. And Sora and Riku were like, whoa, how did that happen? How do you do that? And she's like I said, I put a temporary spell on it to tell me who is there. It'll even alert me of people in the past. So, trust me when I say I will be keeping an eye on you guys, because this is something that Yensid told me to do, and this is something I am going to do. This is my way of keeping an eye on you guys, because I am a master. I am technically your guys' master, other than Mickey. I'm your guys' master. Remember, like, how you guys asked me to keep an eye on you in case you guys ever have to take the Mark of Mastery? This is my way of doing it. I have to go find my sister, and I have to go find my adopted brothers. So, I have to leave on my own journey. But the stone and the Wayfinder will alert me if something happens. Like I said, Sora, if something goes bad to you, if something happens to you and is bad, my stone will glow red. I don't want anything happening to you guys, but I do wish you guys the best of luck on your Mark of Mastery, and I know you'll pass. If not one of you. If not both of you, only one of you will pass, but I have a feeling. And she knows that usually the one with darkness is going to be the one to fail. But it only depends who goes through it. So they go back into the room after agreeing that her way of keeping an eye on them is the best way for them for now. They go back in, and Yensid discusses with them about the Mark of Mastery, and reminds them that Hikaru will be going on her own journey to find her family and friends from the past. She's going to find them, and she's going to bring them back. But if she can't find them, then she will ask for help. But she has a feeling that she knows where at least one of them is. So she goes off. After their Mark of Mastery starts, they start off in Traverse Town, so she knows there's probably nothing going to go wrong. It's an old town so that they've been to. So obviously it's going to be simple. Wrong-o for her. Her Wayfinder glowed like as soon as she left on her glider. Well, not her glider, Terra's glider. Yensid had given her before she left and before they went off, since they were having to go through the sleeping worlds. She was only in charge of the new worlds. So, but like with the Pride Lands and Rescue Me from Darkness, that was her first trip that she got captured in. She helped Simba go through all the hard times with everything that's happened, and then Sora took on from there. But as soon as she was in the first place she looked, was Radiant Garden. She figured she might as well start where the fight had started that she had seen. And she did not want to see that fight, but she did anyway. And she knew what happened to Terra, so she had to find out where he was first. She's going to find Terra first. As much as she should find Aqua first, she's going to wait until she has both people that are in the darkness, that had gone through the darkness, are with her. She goes to find Terra. Who does she find? She finds Lee. She's like, Axel? And he's just like, what? Who? And just looking at her, and the name's not Axel, it's Lee. Got it memorized. And she's like, Lee, oh my god. And, like, she goes up, she runs up to him, gives him this big friggin' hug. And he's like, whoa now. Do I know you? And she's like, how can you not remember me? Seriously, do I have to not get into your head about the sea salt ice cream and you almost exploding? And he's like, that can't be little Hikaru. Like, not so little anymore now, am I? And, like, she jokes off with him for a while, and she tells him, I'm trying to find where this happened. Can you tell me where it happened? And Lee's just like, what happened? And she said, she described the fight between Aqua and Terra in a specific spot. He's like, oh, I know that spot. Come on. And they go off to the area where they first fought. Where, not first. Where it was their final fight. And she looked around, and she was like, and she was wondering if she could get into the castle. Because she knew that castle. She's like, can I go in there? He's like, why? And she's like, Ansem the Wise lived here. I think I have a feeling where I can find a piece of somebody. So, he talked to Alias and Dylan about letting her through. And they knew her. They absolutely knew her. They remembered her. So they let her in, and Ienzo was one of the ones to see her when she walked through. It's like, Hikaru? It's like, hi Ienzo, what's going on? And they walk around, and she tells him what she's looking for, and he's like, oh, okay, follow me. And they go to the lab. What do you know? There's Aqua's armor. And Aqua's glider. She takes them both. She has her own armor on. She's got her own little button for her armor. Same spot where Terra's and Ven's are. Aqua's is right here. Hers is always going to be on her shoulder, like Terra and Ventus. So she decided to take the armor with her. She pressed the button, and she was going to take the armor with her. So she put it in one of her pouches, and decided to go off with it. And not only that, she gained access of Rainfell. But she's always using Terra's Keyblade, so she's always using Earthshaker, but she did gain the ability to use Rainfell. So she will, if double using Keyblades, she will use them both at the same time. Which will shock a lot of people, because only Roxas and Sora can do that. But, she decided to keep going, and she told Lee that she was going to be back at another point to see if she can find Terra. But Lee kind of doesn't know who Terra is. He doesn't know who Terra is. He vaguely remembers the organization, but he also vaguely remembers everything else. That is bugging my notebook. Oh well, got it. Okay, so she goes off after telling them that she'll be back at another point in time. She was going to tell Kairi that Radiant Garden is back. So, but she decided to wait until later to tell her that Radiant Garden is back to normal, and she was going to take her there. The next place she goes to, it was during that trip to Radiant Garden that her Wayfinder was glowing yellow. She's like, wait a minute. It's not just to Vanitas, it's to somebody else. But there's only one other person that it would also glow yellow for. And her eyes widen, and she's like, I need to find a way to get back there now. And so she takes out the glider, she takes out Aqua's glider, and she goes off to the lanes between to Traverse Town. she meets up with Joshua, and who tells her what the heck is going on with Sora and Riku, and she's like, and she tells him what happened. And he's like, glowing yellow, huh? And she takes out the Wayfinder to show him. And she has it like tightly gripped in her hand because it's her sister's and she doesn't want to lose it. And he takes a look and it's still glowing yellow. He's like, very interesting. So they go off to Sora's and Riku's part. They go off to Riku's part, since where she met Joshua was in Sora's. So they go off to Riku's, and they see Riku in this guy shrouded in a black cloak, the organization cloak. And they thought they got rid of all the nobodies, but apparently to them, I guess they didn't. To Riku, he guessed that they didn't get rid of all of them. But little did they know, this was all a plot. This was all a plan of his. He starts talking, and she's like, and Hikaru's like, wait a minute, I know that voice. I know that voice. I know him. And Riku turns around and sees her. He's like, Hikaru, what are you doing here? And was like, I told you I'd supervise, and I told you I'd find a way to get here. And she looks at the guy enshrouded in a black cloak, just like, what are you doing here? Get out of here! And she literally just tells him that, just get out of here. Don't you mess with Riku. Not on my watch, you're not. And so he goes over to mess with Sora, and she's like, oh, you're not messing with Sora either. And she, like Joshua, can go between the places, go between the sleeping worlds to get to them. So she goes over to Sora, and he sees him there too. And just like, I thought I told you to leave them alone. And she takes out Earthshaker, and that's when the guy in the black cloak had realized that, wait a minute, maybe she's his little sister. But that can't be possible. He said he was an only child, and he was adopted. What? He was adopted by a little girl. And he then disappears after warning Sora about it. And she's just like, Sora, don't you dare follow that guy. Don't you dare. And he's like, okay, I promise I won't. Don't do anything stupid either. I don't want to lose you, and I definitely don't want to lose you, and I don't want to lose Riku either. So I want you guys to get through this Mark of Mastery unscathed. No darkness, no. And he's like, okay. And he asks her how her journey's going. She's like, I found my sister's armor at least, but I need to find his now. And so she gives Sora a kiss on the nose, and she said, if I find you unscathed, then you'll get a real kiss. But if I find out you go to the darkness, you're gonna get a slap first. He was like, I know how ruthless you can be. But she gave him another kiss on the nose, and she headed off with a smile. And so the next place she went, very shocking, the place that she went, she was led to the Keyblade Graveyard. And she goes in there, she's like, oh my god, I hadn't been here since I was little. And she's looking around, and all of a sudden she sees this armor that's standing up. She's like, that armor seems very familiar. So she goes up to it, Keyblade in hand. She's like, I don't know what to do, but this might as well be the safest thing to do. And she goes up to him. She goes up to the armor. The armor senses her, turns around. The more stronger version of Earthshaker in the hand. And she's like, wait a minute. That Keyblade. And she looks at Earthshaker, and she looks back at it, and she's like, wait a minute. Ends of the Earth. And she's like blinking in shock, and then all of a sudden it gets ready to fight, and she's like, oh no, wait! Having to block it. She's like, holy shit! Holy crap! Dude, don't do this! So it's like she has to, like, literally, she has to fight it, and she finds out it's the Lingering Will, and she's like, wait a minute, Lingering Will. There's only one person that could have done this, though. And she knew that Terra was still fighting Xehanort in his heart, but got pushed out. It's like, wait a minute. At the end of the fight, she goes up to him and she's like, Tara? Is that you? And it like shoots its head up and just looks at her. You can't see, but he's probably blinking behind that mask. He can't take off his mask. He was just a spirit. Just a lingering will, just a lingering spirit. But she literally had to take a close look at it, and it's like, Tara, is that you? But it can't be. And she holds up Earthshaker to it. She holds up Shaker to Tara's armor. And you can probably sense the wide eyes that he probably has behind that. The spirit has behind it, and he raises his hand and touches it. He's like, Earthshaker, my Keyblade. And she's like, Tara, it's you. I found you. And she hugs Tara's armor, knowing that he could probably feel it somewhere. He could probably feel it. And she decided to take him back with her to Mysterious Tower. And even though he told her, I can't, I have to stay here and wait for him. She's like, wait for Xehanort? It's gonna take decades for him to get here again. It'll take him decades to get here, Tara. Just come with me. He was like, how do I know I can trust you? And she's like, you've trusted me for years, Tara. You trusted me. You let me use Earthshaker for my Mark of Mastery. He's like, did you pass? And she nodded. I passed. And he's like, you're just like your sister. Always trusting. She's like, finally you realize it. And they took her... she took him back to Mysterious Tower. She had to hide him in her room so nobody could find him until the time was right. And at the same time, also, Lee was starting to wonder, when am I going to get one? He sees Sora and Riku with a Keyblade, and Roxas, obviously, he's seen with a Keyblade, and he's also seen Ventus with one. So, how can he not want one? Obviously, it's something that could be possible, and Goofy was right. Goofy was right about Axel wielding one at one point. But he was suspecting more of Jack Sparrow doing it, but still. Anyway, what went on was she continued going through the worlds trying to find Aqua now. And she looked through every single one that she had visited. She looked through the ones where Sora and Riku are going through, and nothing. She could not find Aqua. And she's like, wait a minute, there's one place I haven't checked. So she goes to the Realm of Darkness. That's the only place she hadn't checked. She checked the world that never was. She checked the ends of the world. Nothing. So she goes to the Realm of Darkness. And she gets that feeling again that someone's there. 2 people are there. She goes through and sees this guy in red, but not just the guy in red, with his face covered too. But she sees a girl with blue hair. She goes up and taps her shoulder. It's like, Aqua? And Aqua's just like, turns around, and there's Hikaru just standing there looking beautiful. She is grown up. She looks more like a lady than anything else. And she's like, Hikaru, you're here! She gets up and freaking pulls her sister into a tight hug. She's like, hey, no squishing the master now! And Aqua's just like, wait a minute, you're a master? She's like, yep, I passed my Mark of Mastery. She's like, I can't believe it, you passed. I can't believe it, Hikaru. Oh my god. You passed your Mark of Mastery. I'm so proud of you. And she's like, yeah, Tara said the same thing. She's like, Tara? Where's Tara? Have you found him? I found his armor. I just need to find a way to get his body back. I promised Tara before I left that I was going to help him find his body, so... And she did. She thought back to when she put Terra's armor on her bed, the lingering will on her bed. She whispered in his ear, in the armor ear, saying, "I'll help you find your body. I'll help you get your body back, Terra. You need it. Because I don't want to see you wearing that armor for the rest of your life. I want you back in your body again. I'll find it, and I'll help you get into it again." And she told Aqua, and Aqua was just like, "I can't believe it. Terra's spirit was still in his armor. I didn't even think about it." And she told him what the lingering will had told her, saying that he needed to wait in the Keyblade graveyard for Xehanort. And she's like, "It'll take decades for him to get there." And she's like, "That's what I told him, and he would not listen." It took a while to convince him to get to the freaking mysterious tower with me. And Aqua started laughing. She's like, "Oh, this is Diz." And Hikaru's like, "That's not Diz." She's like, "Huh?" And Aqua's just like, "What? It is too. He said his name was Diz. That's not Diz. You can take that off, Ansem the Wise." And he's just like, "You saw right through it." Like, of course I did. Why wouldn't I know it? Why wouldn't I know? Why wouldn't I see right through it, Ansem? Really? He was stuck in the realm of darkness with Aqua. And so they made small talk. So she got them both out of there. Mickey was actually kind of happy to see Ansem the Wise. He was happy to see him again. And so was Hikaru. And Yen Sid was actually rather surprised too. Which was really funny. Anyway, she goes off again. And she asks Aqua. She takes Aqua to her room to show her Terra's armor, the lingering will. And Terra started talking to Aqua through the armor. And Aqua is like holding back a little bit on some conversation. Because he was asking about... He was asking about Ven. And she was holding back on it. And Hikaru walked up to Aqua saying, "Where is Ven?" And so Aqua told her that she didn't want to tell her there. She wanted to go somewhere private to tell her, because someone could be listening in. So she said, "The only place that's probably safe is my heart, because the only one that's in there is my nobody, Shion." And Aqua's at first a little confused on how she has a nobody. She doesn't even know what a nobody is, and neither does Terra. So, also within her heart is Terra's spirit. So she's got a bit of Terra's spirit in there, so Terra will be in there to help with the conversation. So they go to Mickey. Mickey puts them all to sleep, moves Aqua's heart into Hikaru's, and they start having the conversation. And she brings up again, "Where is Ventus?" And Aqua's sitting there. They're sitting on the stained glass floor. And Terra's like got his arms crossed, his knees up a little. And Aqua's just sitting there. She's like, "I guess from one master to another, I should probably tell you. You know Castle Oblivion, right?" And she's like, "Vaguely, but not much. My memory had been erased of Castle Oblivion, kind of. What's that place again?" And Aqua's just a little shocked, but she kind of expected it because she had the feeling that her sister was going through it and decided to just drop it. It's, originally, it was our home. And she was like, "Home? But, Aqua, where?" She's like, "We're from the land of departure. All four of us. You, me, Terra, and Ven." And she was a little shocked, and that's when it clicked in her head. She remembered Aqua having to transform that place. She remembered Aqua telling her she had to transform it because the master left her in charge of it. From one master to another. And even though Terra was there, he was still considered a master. So he had to hear the conversation too, in case he wanted to find Ven himself as well. Aqua said, but we can't wake him up. We have to go over there to wake him up, but we can't. And she's wondering why. And she told her, it's because before that fight, it's like before mine and Terranor's final fight, and Terra's just like looking off to the side, a little embarrassed about that. How he could let that even happen to him, to his body. She said that she had to put that Ven's heart went to sleep. She doesn't know where, but he went to sleep. Hikaru said that she had a feeling that she knew where his heart was because only one person resembled Ven. When she met him, she got her memories back of the organization, so she kind of had a bad feeling about it. But she told Aqua that she met someone when she first woke up that resembled Ventus, and his name was Roxas. And she even showed them a picture that one of the shopkeepers in Twilight Town took. And she was like, he does look like Ven, but... And she told Aqua he was Sora's nobody. So she had a feeling... So she told her, I have a feeling that Ven's heart rests within Sora's. So we need Sora here in order to wake him up. And she's like, where's Sora now? Sora and Rika are taking their mark of mastery. She's like, how are they doing anyway? I have ways of keeping in touch with them. And she takes out the Wayfinder, and Aqua's like, my Wayfinder. He gave it to you. And she's like, yep, he did. I put a temporary spell on it in order to tell me who is going after them. So far, only one person. And Terra's like, who? And Terra and Aqua are like, who? Who is it? And she's like, Xehanort. And when it glows yellow on here, it glows red on her stone. They're after Sora. And he's after Sora, and that's not a good sign either. And Terra's just like, I will go wait in the Keyblade graveyard. And Hikaru's like, no, you're not. You're staying here. And Terra's like, but I need to get there because I need to fight Xehanort. And like, Xehanort's not going to show up there. Either you stay in my room or you come with us. And he's like, go with you where? And she's like, I have one feeling that they're going to meet in that one place that I don't want to remember. And he's saying, where? And he's like, the Gathering. The Gathering room where all Organization 13 members met. Where they all meet and have this discussion about the future. What to do and everything. They're waiting for the 13th member. I have the feeling in my heart they're after Sora. And Terra's gonna be like, but that's not possible. They already have someone who looks like Sora. They don't need him. She's like, I know they have Vanitas, but it's not. It doesn't rule it out of the question of the 13th body that Xehanort needs. I'm guessing Vanitas is feeling pretty down by now about that kind of thing. But I don't know for sure because I had not even talked to Vanitas ever since I was 4. Thanks to you both. Well, thanks to all 3 of you, but thanks to you, too, and Ventus. But with the fact that when I'm with Ventus, Vanitas always shows up. I talked to Xehanort because of you, Terra. I talked to everyone else because of you. I want to talk to Vanitas because of Ven. What are we going to do to wake him up? We gotta wait until Sora and Rika are done with their Mark of Mastery then. And Terra's agreeing with that. He's like, yeah, we should probably wait until they're done. And Hikaru said, that means their final battle. I'm gonna have to go help. They're like, why? I'm like, because Lee is there. Lee's at the Mysterious Tower right now. And it's while they were talking that it seems like days would pass. So it would seem awkward. But every time it's going on, either it will turn yellow and she'll send her spirit, The Wayfinder will turn yellow. She sends her spirit to go check on them and everything. Even gives Sora that kiss on the nose and kiss on the cheek and kiss on the forehead that he needs. And even she teased him a little bit and kissed him right at the corner of the mouth. She teased him. So, like, she would always do that. So, it seemed that way to Sora to hang in there. And he winds up falling to the other side. And she feels it. It glows like a deep, deep red. Her stone glows a deep red. And she's like, oh no. Sora's been captured. I gotta go. We gotta go. She told Aqua to stay with Terra's armor. And so she went off to go to the gathering place with Riku, with Mickey, and with Lee. But once she was able to at least try and grasp Sora, someone gets in her way. She doesn't know who until she sees. And she saw the yellow eyes and the black hair, like peas hanging in the front. She's like, Vanitas? And Vanitas is like, oh crap, why am I stuck with you? Why am I stuck with you? No! And he has to hold her back from getting to Sora because he knew that Sora was going to be the final piece. But, like, Ansem Secret Darkness holds back Riku. Vanitas holds Hikaru back. Xemnas holds Lee back. And it becomes harder for them to move. Mickey is the one... Oh, Xemnas holds Mickey back. Lee is the one that actually goes out there to get Sora. And they have to fight off everyone. She helps Riku fight off Ansem Secret Darkness. Mickey helps her fight off Vanitas. And Riku and Hikaru help Mickey fight off Xemnas. And not all that fun. Aqua, if she was there, I'm pretty sure Aqua and Lingering Will would probably fight Xehanort at that point in time. Because what was happening was what she figured out was that Xehanort had been traveling back in time to young Xehanort. Yeah, his younger self is the one traveling back in time and the cause of the Wayfinder going yellow and glowing yellow. He is the cause of it. It's not Vanitas, it's freaking young Xehanort. But, they managed to go back. Sora's heart is asleep. And Sora's heart is the last world. Whoever fell to the darkness first was the one to fall asleep. Sora's heart was asleep because he wound up being tricked and fell into darkness. Riku went back in. And Hikaru actually went with him. She told Mickey, keep an eye on Aqua and Terra's armor. I will be back. And she went with Riku. When she had gotten in there, she saw someone very familiar. And Riku had to fight him. And it's not fun having your two best friends fight. Especially one since you were little. So she's standing back. She's watching it. She's like, wait a minute. This seems all too familiar now. And she's imagining her fight with Ventus. And it was Ven that he was fighting. So she just calls out, Ventus? Ven? And Ven just looks at her and he's like, oh my gosh. Hikaru! And he's, like, telling her to stay away from Riku. And she's like, no, he's my best friend. He's one of them. He's one of my best friends. Ven, you need to stop! So Ventus stops fighting. Sora's heart was starting to wake up, and Ven was starting to fade off. She's like, no, you're not going to fade. You're going to stay in here until we take you over to Castle Oblivion. You're going to wake up. And Sora didn't know who Ven was much anyway. So once they got out, Riku was named Keyblade Master. Sora is excited, is literally excited. But once he sees Hikaru, he's like kind of like standoffish. She's like, oh god, I'm gonna get it. And she goes up to him. and slaps him upside the head and tells him, I told you not to do that. And he said, I'm sorry. And he's like holding his head. She's like, you're lucky I love you. Otherwise I would kill you right now. And he's like, wait, what? Because they never expressed their feelings like that. He had the feeling, he loved her, but he didn't know if she felt the same way, and now he does. So, what she did was, she told him, at least you're safe. You did get out of it unscathed. You got out of your Mark Mastery unscathed. And she gave him a kiss. A final kiss. She finally gave him a freaking kiss. After that kiss they had at the World That Never Was, they hadn't kissed since. So that was something he wanted for a long time. But after that, Riku was Yensid has said Riku has shown the Mark of Mastery. So in a way, it was almost like the opposite for Aqua and Terra. It was, instead of Aqua, who would have been Sora, and Terra was Riku, it was Riku who was named Master. Like Terra wanted, because like he was actually, his armor was standing in the room when it happened. And Aqua was feeling all happy and proud of her little sister for actually finally kissing her boyfriend. And Terra was smirking like crazy. He was like, now I got a reason to tease her. And not only that, Hikaru said, I got a surprise for you, Terra. And she took Terra back to that place. They snuck in to where Xemnas was sleeping. And said, you will fight yourself, and you will get your body back. Xehanort will not have any control anymore. He's like, what? Because this is Terranort. This is you. This is your body. You will get it back, Terra. So she supervises the fight between Lingering Will and Terranort. Well, Xemnas, but Terranort sounds better to say now. So, Xemnas, and Xehanort not being around, they fight. And at that point, Terra gets his body back after the fight. He wins the fight. And he gets his body back. The hair changes back to brown and short again. And his eyes are back to being the same old blue that she remembered. And not only that, when they go back to Mysterious Tower, she, Aqua, Terra, Sora, and Riku, and Mickey told Yensid that as long as he keeps an eye on Lee, well, they will go off for a bit. And he asked them where, and they said to Castle Oblivion. Well, Aqua and Hikaru say, we're going to Castle Oblivion because we have someone else to wake up. We have someone else to get. So, they go off to Castle Oblivion. Sora is like vaguely almost remembering everything in Castle Oblivion, but at the same time he doesn't want to remember. But, because that was when he kind of hurt Hikaru's feelings. But, it's still the best place to go. So, Aqua had undone the spell of the hidden room, and she opened the door, and there was Ven sleeping on the throne. She had Sora go next to the throne, and actually she had him take grasp of his hand. And she had Terra do the same. Terra and Hikaru do the same. Actually, she had Terra do the same because those two are connected. Ventus was close to Terra, and he was shared hearts with Sora. So, she had them both hold his hands to be sure that he wakes up. And she and Hikaru, she taught Hikaru everything. Since she was a master, she taught Hikaru everything, and she had Riku come with them as well. And Mickey helped along the way with it. She taught her the spell to wake up the heart. So they all aimed their keyblades at Sora's heart, and Hikaru was the one to move it. She moved it to Ven's heart, moved it to Ven's chest, and the light went in. And once it was done, they de-willed their keyblades, and Aqua went up to Ven and shook him, saying, "Ven, it's time to wake up. Come on." And Ven just like opens his eyes, and he's just like all of a sudden looking around. He's like, "What?" He sees Sora, and he's like, "It's him!" He summons Wayward Wings. Sora's like, "Ah!" Has to hide behind Hikaru, and Hikaru's like, Ven, chill! It's not Vanitas! She had to tell him, it's not Vanitas. He's not Vanitas. She had to grab his shoulders to tell him. And he all of a sudden sees Hikaru. He's like, "Hikaru? This is Sora. He's the boy you shared your heart with." And Vanitas had to apologize for attacking Sora like that. But, yeah. Anyway, they were lucky to have Ven awake, and they were very lucky to have Terra's body back. Terra was very happy to have his body back, and Hikaru even offered to give him back Earthshaker, but he said, "I don't need it. I've got a stronger version of Earthshaker in my hand, so I don't need my Earthshaker anymore. You can use it. You can have it." And Aqua even told her she can use Rainfell because she's already got Master Keeper. And she looked at Ven, and Ven's just like, "I may need Wayward Wind back." And Terra's just like slaps him lightly upside the head. She's like, "Ven?" She's like, "Oh, right, okay, you can keep it." He was just joking anyway.